Hello, I'm calling this video update on Catalyst Hope Grove merger, or Cat Grove. Not calling it that, don't worry. We just think it's sometimes helpful to give you basically a rundown where we're at, trying to cover some of the details. Obviously things can move, but here's where we think we're at and some important dates and details to kind of be aware of as a church. So if you don't know what's going on in this conversation, to rewind, basically God, over the last 9 months or so, we think has really been leading us in this conversation of merging with a church called Hope Grove. They're about 6.5 minutes from us in Roseville off 36, very similar culture and DNA. Both churches are healthy and believe actually coming together we can be healthier and do even more ministry and mission. And so that's kind of the origin story of the conversation. And so there's a long process involving leadership teams and outside assessments to say, hey, is this a good idea? Is this healthy? And it's led us to this vote, which will be happening July 31st, right after the service. Now, before that, this Sunday, the 10th, right after church is our annual meeting. Now, Peter, as church chair, leads that. I'll be there, obviously, and participate, but he's kind of leading that and giving more direction there. We'll cover some of the need-to-knows and details about the merger more specifically there. It's open to anyone. Obviously, members can vote, but anyone can attend, and would encourage you to, especially if you have kids. RSVP, Lisa's going to be sending that out to let us know because there's going to be childcare and food. So that's kind of July. So basically the 10th, this Sunday, we'll talk a lot of details about our church, but also some about the merger. The vote then would happen at both churches right around the 31st. After the 31st, then, if the vote's a yes, which I'll be honest, I'm planning on at this point, I think both churches, from what we're hearing, that's a trajectory, would be then August 21st. We actually would have had to on August 21st, this is interesting, would have had to have found a new place to meet anyway. The park has a huge event and was booked. And so originally we had talked about, well, what if we go visit Hope and then come back to the park? And it just seemed like a whole bunch of ping-ponging back and forth. So last week, Alex and I met and kind of proposed this idea where actually starting on August 21st, we'd start meeting together. We call them preview services at Hope Grove's location, which is 2400 Dale Street North in Roseville, the Concordia Academy High School building. What if we actually started meeting, doing joint preview services that August 21st, which would give us 4 or so weeks until we actually do a big grand opening, grand launch September 18th. So what that would mean then is starting August 21st, we'd be gathering together and we'd be looking like what it looks like to kind of merge. And so, it's previews. So I'm sure there's going to be some things we don't figure out until we're there, or week 2 or 3 type of thing. But that would mean we begin. Alex and I are looking actually at splitting preaching the first few weeks. What would it look like to have kind of tech teams begin to meet each other, integrate worship teams, greeting teams, setup teams, all these wonderful things. So important dates again to remember. Obviously this Sunday is the annual meeting. The 31st after church is the vote. August 21st would be when we begin kind of preview services together at the Dale Street location I just mentioned before, Concordia Academy's building. So if you show up at the park after the 21st, if this all goes forward, you will be alone. I mean, it'll be beautiful. God's always with you, but we won't be there. We'll be over in Roseville at the Concordia Academy building. We're working on getting new signage and everything printed for all of that, so it's not confusing. And then that would give us about 4 or so weeks to work on learning each other's systems a little bit more, which we have been working on in the back end. So those are the important dates, kind of timeline. As always, if you have questions, let us know. I'm going to be reaching out to, as others, different various ministry leads to kind of connect all the details and scheduling details and all those good things. But we think it's important to be kind of updating you in the process as it goes forward. So this is the latest update, friends. Be well.